How's it going, guys? My name's Christian Jamal. If you have not been on this channel before, I'm just going to give you guys a little background. So first things first, today we're going to be auditing one of our students' accounts. He's generating leads for himself at the moment. So he obviously has some clients. He's crushing it in South America. He's trying to expand into the US market, and we're going to be auditing his ad account and showing you guys how you can generate leads for your agency using Facebook. And then obviously we want to make sure that he gets the best ROI possible. So if you have no idea who I am, what I do, stuff like that. So I built 2 agencies to 7 figures a year. We currently do about $650,000 to $700,000 a month. Obviously on the road to $1 million a month. Not there yet, but nevertheless, we're gonna dive into the video. Diego, do you want to give an intro about yourself, what you do, what your agency specializes in, and why you joined the Agency Blueprint?
Yeah, so hey everyone, this is Diego. I'm the CEO of Diesel Consulting. That's the name of my agency. And as Jamal was saying, we are based on Guatemala, and basically we're starting to expand to the US market. And one of the reasons I joined the Agency Blueprint is because, as you can see, if you dig just a little bit into Christian, you guys know like how they're crushing it with their agency and how big they are. And yeah, they just opened up this opportunity and was like a no-brainer for us because we're looking to expand. We're looking to expand not only, our revenue, but our knowledge too. And, this is like a new market for us, of course, the US. We're in Guatemala. So yeah, just looking forward to everything. Actually, I don't know if I can say this, but, I joined the agency program maybe 1 month ago. And I was going to put that on the Discord chat, but, we are only in Guatemala. We're growing in Guatemala already. What you guys taught us, more in the sales and whatever we've been implementing. But our January to February, we just grew from 7K a month to we're going to close February with 12K a month. So yeah,
that's awesome, bro. Month 1. I mean, really, all I want to do is get you to 50K a month, because that's when you start punching at a different level, talking to different level clientele. And at the end of the day, yeah, the money's great, but the game itself is way more fun, in my opinion, when you're talking with businesses that you never could possibly have imagined were businesses that you're going to work with, like the biggest players in town, stuff like that. So I look forward to you hitting those goals. But I mean, let's just jump into the ad account. And also to preface, this is likely going to be very different than the US market. The US market is completely different than any other country, whether it's South America, Europe, Middle East, whatever it may be. I think these types of ads would probably work in 90 to 95% of the rest of the world. In the US, it's a little different, but regardless, I'm going to give you some context on how to make it work with your strategy and how to make it work in the US market as well. Okay?
Definitely.
All right, perfect. So first things first, let's go. So these are 3 different campaigns, or are you on the ad set level? I can't see.
So I only have 1 campaign active right now.
All right, cool. So click edit on the campaign, and then we're going to dive into each one of these. So scroll down, no special category. That's good. No, scroll down on the right. And perfect. So advantage campaign budget is turned off. So that's perfect. So you guys know the way I like to use campaign budget optimization is when you find your winners, you move them to the campaign of their own, and then you use the advantage campaign budget or the CBO. But as of this one, because he just launched the ads, keep in mind, this is all new data. It's turned off, so that's good, Diego. So let's move on to the first ad set. So this one is website, scroll down. Pixel, okay, so it's a lead. So obviously, like, we're not gonna go through this, but just if you guys did not test your pixel, which I'm guessing Diego did, I would make sure to test the pixel, make sure that it works. Because a lot of times, even if you install it, it's not tracking the right metrics. It's not tracking the right numbers. So just make sure that that works. Scroll down, Diego. All right, cool. Daily budget, $5. So I think that this would work in overseas, but not in the US. I would say in the US, you want to spend a lot more than $5 per ad set. I would say probably no less than 20. And you want to have at least 5 running. So because the thing is, the cost per acquisition in the US is much higher. So what I would do is I would definitely try to start with $100 a day and scale it from there, just because there is simply way more competition here. And now that Diego is able to say that we're a marketing company that operates in the US, in you said Colombia, right?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. In Guatemala, that is regarded as an elite company, and that's the same case with 95% of the rest of the world. So like if you're in Europe and you say we're in the US operating as a marketing company, most countries look at US as like the business capital of the world in a sense. Now I'm sure like there's debate on that topic, but regardless, there is a ton of people running ads here as compared to other places, which is why it's a bidding system, and the person who's spending the most is also likely to win. That's why $5 a day in the US will probably do little to no damage, but $5 in Guatemala is probably killer, right? So scroll down, Diego. All right, scroll down. So all of this is good. So I like this. So I like how you selected the location as Guatemala City with a 10-mile radius, because most people that run ads for their agency, they think to themselves, oh, I'm an online business. I can simply run ads everywhere. Why don't I run ads everywhere? So I like the fact that you created a small pond to fish in, and you're just attacking that same location over and over and over again, so that people see you many times over and eventually converting as a lead. So I think that's a very good move. If you just targeted the whole country, I would probably tell you pick a smaller location. So this is good. I like the age 25 to 45. This is perfect. So typically people sub 25 don't have a business, and people above 45 are likely either not investing into their marketing because they're very traditional. Now, obviously, that's not 100% the case, but 90% of the time, it is the case. So the age 25 to 45 is likely where you're going to find the most amount of your buyers. So I think this is a very good move. Scroll down. All right. And then we're doing Advantage Plus placements. That means he's running it on Facebook and Instagram. Now, to give you a tip on this, what I would do is I would split those. So rather than doing Advantage Plus placements, I would do ads specific to Facebook and ads specific to Instagram, because what we've seen is Instagram in the US has a higher conversion rate, but the cost per lead is higher. So when you run Advantage Plus placements, Facebook spends most of the money on, Meta spends most of the money on Facebook, not allowing Instagram to spend as much, even though your actual purchases are happening on Instagram. But because Facebook can't see where you collected money, they're going to regard Facebook as a better platform because you're getting cheaper leads, and cheaper is not always better. So this is just a point of information, just so that you can think about that. Now, when it comes down
like the ad set, one for Facebook and one for Instagram.
Correct. So in this case, you would split the budget, $2.5 per day on Facebook, $2.5 per day on Instagram. But this is just food for thought. I really wouldn't do 2.5. I would maybe do 5 each, and then figure out what's doing best from there. But do you want to go to the next ad set? Let's audit the ad sets first, and then we can go into the ads.
Sure.
All right, perfect. What's the difference between this one and the last one? Oh, this is an instant form. Got it. Okay. Scroll down. Scroll down. So it's the same target audience, same ad set. The only difference is the Facebook lead form. Okay, cool. What I've seen is that lead forms for agencies specifically is extremely hit or miss. Sometimes the ads are killing it. Sometimes the ads are not doing well. Even though the cost per lead may always stay the same, the quality of the lead is heavily fluctuating. Now, if you have a very large batch of already clients, you can run a lookalike audience to your clients and have it perform well. But most of the time, I would say that maybe it would work where Diego is located, but in the US market, it's very tough to compete when it comes to the lead forms because there is simply too many unqualified people. There is way, way more unqualified people than people qualified to work with you. So let's go on to the next ad set. All right, perfect. So this one is an instant form as well. Scroll down, and then scroll down. And then we're doing interest. Okay, click on edit just so I can see them split. All right, cool. Marketing strategy, sales management, advertising, construction, entrepreneurship, real estate, sales. Okay, so there is two different viewpoints when it comes to targeting like this. So some people like it where you're just targeting a bunch of different interests that are kind of along the same lines. I am personally not the biggest fan of this, but I've done it in the past because it works sometimes, right? When it comes down to the ad sets, I like to test one interest at a time to see where my money is actually being generated. Because right now, if this target audience does well, it's great. Diego makes money. But Diego doesn't know which interest is causing him to make money. That's the drawback. So it's kind of a give and take. So it's a double-edged sword. So it's good, but it's bad at the same time. Now, obviously, like since the budget is super low, you want to be able to like get results more than test for what works. So it's a give and take, right? So I like how you did this. I like that you're trying to target people within that realm. But because your daily ad spend doesn't allow for a lot of testing, you're simply trying to go for the kill. And then from there, you're able to obviously reallocate whatever the new client is paying you for testing. So I like that. Now, let me ask you this. Are all the ads, ad 1, 2, and 3 the same for inside the ad sets?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. That's also really good because now he will be able to actually dictate which target audience is doing best. And sometimes some ads do better with one target audience versus the other. So rather than looking at the ads as all ad ones are the same and all interests are different, now he's looking at maybe ad 1 is better with interests, and then ad 2 is better with the open targeting. So he's actually testing without spending a ton of money. So that's good. So let's look at ad 1 from the landing page. All right, scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down, scroll down. Okay, scroll down. And then let me see the landing page. And then you want to share that screen as well?
Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you want to click inspect so we can see what it looks like on mobile? Most people will sign up on mobile.
How do you do that? Do I just...
So are you on Google Chrome?
Yeah.
So after you right click inspect, there's a little like laptop and iPhone on the top left corner of the module. Okay, perfect. I guess it's probably not loading properly, but no, you're making it too small. So just make it like the iPhone size. Okay. So it's probably not loading properly, so you can just go back to normal. That's fine.
Yeah, because it should be optimized well.
Hey, no worries. So I'm sure it is optimized. Sometimes the Google Chrome does not make it work well, but nevertheless, we're gonna just dive in. So I like this landing page. It's not too complicated. It's straight to the point. A lot of people will tell you you need a video, you need this, you need that, which I agree. In a US market, you might want to have some sort of opt-in to watch a video. But I find that whenever people are given a lot less info, so a lot less material, so like no video, no nothing, and they actually willingly sign up. So this is probably increasing your cost per lead. But when they do sign up, they tend to be insanely high quality. So I also think it's a give and take. What I would do if I was in your shoes, though, is I would build a landing page, because right now people can click on services, they can click on about, they can click on case studies, and they can move around the website a lot when really all you want them to do is to schedule a strategy call, right? So I would do some sort of landing page that has a similar aesthetic to your website that is straight to the point. So let's go back to the ads manager. So let's audit the ads first. So the image itself is the first thing I always look at, right? So I personally think that this image has way too much text in it, but I like how it's like informative. Now, obviously, I don't speak Spanish. Diego, you can translate it for me, but I can see 95%, which tells me that you are talking about some sort of statistics. And I always think about the fact that whenever you give statistics, people can make their own educated decision on whether or not this is a good number. And then if you don't give statistics, then it's kind of like so broad that people don't know what to relate it to. Now, when you do give statistics like 95%, what I would do is I would do a concept called an anchor. So 95%, is that good? Is that bad? Most people will regard 95% as good. But if you want all people to regard 95% as good, you need to anchor it to something else. So if he's saying, for example, that we have a 95% success rate, he can say that most companies have a success rate of 70%. Our strategy has a success rate of 95%. And now creating that comparison to where that comparison is going to cause everybody to believe that 95% is good, right? Because what if the average is 98%, right? Then 95 is not so good. So Diego, if you want to start by translating the actual image itself. So
Yeah.
what does that headline say?
Yeah. So the headline basically says dominate your ads.
Okay.
And it says, are you looking for leads or potential clients?
Mhm.
We have increased the sales of one of our clients up to 95%.
Mhm.
Contact us to talk about your business and
Mhm.
schedule your strategy call, basically.
Okay, cool. So I am personally not the biggest fan of that style of copy. I like the headline. I think the headline is good. Dominate your ads. Like we use something similar to that sometimes as well. But what I would say is that the text in the image is too much of a primary text, like a copy. It's not really an image related text. So what I would say is I would readjust it. Let me see if we're running this ad so I can show you a comparison. Facebook ad library. Because I like the headline, but the image itself, when there is way too much text, people tend to scroll way too quickly.
Okay.
Let me see if we're running it. Okay, great. Okay, so I'll show you what we're doing on our side of things. So if you want to stop sharing your screen so I can share mine. All right, 1 second.
Stop sharing? Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you look at our ads, obviously we have a ton of stuff running, but this is kind of a similar concept to what you're doing, but we're doing, right? So we're using dominate Facebook ads, ROI guarantee, and then schedule call. So if you notice the copy, we're testing short form copy right now. That is like very straight to the point. Let me fix this. Like we've done videos, we do verticals for the story. But so like right now we have like long copy or medium copy, I guess, and then short form copy. For the images, this is what we have. Dominate Facebook ads, ROI guaranteed. So as just a good comparison, the text is way bigger, right?
Yeah.
When the text is way bigger, people tend to read the text if it's less words, because right now what you have structured, even though it may be good, like some people might read it, but the majority is probably not reading it, right? So if you want to go back to sharing your screen so we can continue looking at everything. All right, cool. Now, translate for me the primary text.
So it says, is your lead gen stock? Transform your strategy with our ROI driven marketing. That's like kind of like our slogan. Amplify your results and let's convert every dollar of marketing into success.
Okay.
Click learn more to book your free strategy call with us.
Okay. I like the call to action at the end, and I like the hook. I think you can do probably a little bit better on the hook, because that's the thing is when you think of a hook, think of this. So think of a hook as either highlighting a pain point or highlighting a potential success, right? So if you say, like, for example, is your marketing stuck? Marketing stuck is a negative term. So that's the pain point, right? If you say, like, get a better return on your ads, obviously that's a terrible hook, which I would never do, but like, I'm just giving an example. That's a positive outcome, right? So think about it like this. So I'm not saying yours is good or bad. I'm just saying that it's important to know that these two options exist so that you can test. Because maybe an audience in Guatemala likes the positive outcome. Maybe they are more receptive to a negative outcome. You can easily know how the hook does based on the average watch time of a video if you're doing the hook at the beginning of the video. If the average watch time for positive is 3 seconds, the average watch time for 5 seconds is, for the opposite is 5 seconds, then obviously the 5 seconds wins, okay? Now, the body...
Also, you hear me because I'm taking notes.
Yeah, you're good, man. So I think the body is the part that can probably use the most work on your side of things, because you did a good job with the hook. You did a good job with the call to action. Now, the body is actually what I would take from the ad itself, from the photo. So you know how you did like a case study where you increase someone's results by 95%? Because right now, whenever you think of a section within the primary text, you want to think of an objective. Objective of the hook is to get attention. Objective of the call to action is to prompt the next action. What is your body doing right now? Your body right now is fairly broad. It's basically just text that is there just because you need the text to be there. It doesn't really have a mission.
Okay.
Right? So think about it like this. Is it giving me credibility? Is it a case study? Is it a testimonial? Is it like basically explaining my service at a deeper level? Is it highlighting a guarantee? So like it needs to have a certain mission, right? And you can argue that this body is maybe explaining the service a little bit better. But also when I look at this body, what I think of is, you know, when you chew a gum too long and it loses the flavor, but you're still chewing. So that's what that body is doing, is it's basically has no flavor, but it's there and you don't mind that it's there. So I would definitely work on the body a little bit. Now let's talk about the second primary text.
This one, right?
Yeah.
So it says, do you want to take your business to the next level?
I like it. So that's a positive. Yeah.
Our ROI-driven strategies offer a measurable success.
Okay.
And then the same thing, book a free strategy call with us to see how we can help you elevate your business.
Okay. So
the translation might be not the best, but you know, you kind of get it.
No, it's fine. No, I actually like this one a lot better than the first one. But what I would do for the body is what I would keep what you have, but I would mix it with something else. So what I mean by this is the following. So like, you said that our ROI-driven strategy can give you measurable results. What I would do is our ROI strategy generated X. So you put the business name, like a case study or a testimonial, an additional X percentage on their monthly revenue in the first 3 months. So you want to talk about measurable results, you give the amount and the timeline, right? And that's what I would say would make this copy 10 out of 10. Now, what I would do is maybe the call to action I would make a little bit shorter because it seems fairly long. Now, obviously, I'm not an expert at Spanish, so maybe this is a regular style sentence, but it does seem too long in my opinion. But at the end of the day, you can obviously like test and see short versus long, which one performs better. Because right now what I'm giving you is opinion based on experience. I'm not like giving you facts because I'm not looking at numbers, right? So take everything with a grain of salt. Now, I don't like how you have 2 primary texts and how it gives you an option of 5. I know this is like a new thing on Facebook and a lot of people are using it, XYZ. I'm not a fan of it because I don't know which copy does better.
Yeah.
Right. And if one copy does better than the other based on Facebook's opinion, they're going to spend all the budget there. And then that's not going to let me know whether or not the other copy even is good because it didn't spend any money. Now, what I would do in this situation is I would probably duplicate the ad, change the copy or put one of each versions of the copy under each one. But overall, like I really like this. Now let's talk about the headline. What do those translate to?
So this one is just book your free strategy call.
Perfect.
And the second one is we have increased up to 95% the client's revenue.
Okay. So I love the first one. I'm not a fan of the second one. First of all, the second one is too long. And then the first one is exactly what you want it to do. You want to give them a call to action again. In my opinion, that's what a headline is needed for. I've seen much better results with this. A lot of people will argue that maybe the headline is meant to highlight the product, highlight the service, whatever. I find that when you give them something to do in the headline, it tends to do really well. But remember, the only people seeing the headline are on Facebook. So it's not even the most important part of the ad, in my opinion. Now, before we, is this the lead form or is this the land? Oh, that's the website. Okay. Yeah, let's look at ad number 2. So this is the game plan. We're going to look at ad number 2, ad number 3, and then we're going to go look at the lead form.
Okay.
So I love this ad a lot better than the last one. Way less text. Now, what I would do with this is I would split as multiple things being written, right? Can you translate the photo for me, please?
Marketing should be a profitable investment. Let's transform, and then down, let's transform your marketing in a revenue powerhouse, something like that.
Yeah. So I like that headline a lot because it's kind of like, it's neutral, but it's also more towards like a pain point, because you're pre-assuming that their investment on the marketing is not an investment, it's a cost. You're pre-assuming that they're losing money, which I like. And then what was the second part?
It says let's transform your marketing investment into a revenue powerhouse.
Okay, so this is way too much marketing terminology. I would do something more actionable. You can say something along the lines of this, like the average increase in revenue for people who book an appointment with us is 60% in the first 90 days. Something that is like, oh, wow, like that could be me. You know what I mean? So you give it some sort of objective. Now, keep in mind, I don't think it's like bad as it is. I love the headline, but the actual text under it, I think could use a little different options. But overall, the image, I like it. It's very modern. The rocket is going up. There's a dollar sign. I like it. I really do. So let's look at ad 3. All right, perfect. What does this one translate to?
It says the headline is optimize your marketing budget to the maximum. That kind of like how it would translate. And then it's too small. Convert your marketing spend into a strategic investment. And then the third one, we create campaigns that generate real results and measurable results for your business.
Okay. And that's the thing, is whenever you say real results, whatever, it's important to always anchor, right? So you now that you read the sentence and you understand the anchor concept, you can see that it's it's good, but like, what does it mean really? Like, to someone, like, imagine someone that's looking at the ads like in 3rd grade and you're trying to explain it to them, right? Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this, because the platforms themselves are usually white, and I find that white ads don't perform the best. I like some sort of color, some sort of scroll stopping energy, because as it is, people don't like photos that much anymore. So you want to at least be able to get their attention. That's why I like the last one, because like the color was so vibrant and it was dope and it was a gradient. Now, I might be mistaken. This might be the best ad. It might work for your market, but this ad gives me the energy of like a billboard on the side of the road, right? Where it's like, hi, we're here. Let me know if you need help. But it's less targeted towards a single individual. And I would just like explore other options, like that handshake, for example. I think it doesn't really give like your business like the best chance to capture someone's attention, because I look at that and I feel zero emotion. When I look at the rocket with the money going up, I think to myself, oh, this is a modern business. Handshake is very traditional. So like, it might do well, it might not do well. So like, thinking about these things is the whole point of what I'm trying to do today, is for you to think outside the box of what is and what isn't, okay? But this ad could do well with either like a different image and a different background, with maybe a better headline. I like the headline, so I'm not like saying anything about the headline, but maybe something a little bit better, and then a slightly different body. So, but overall, like, good ad. And then
so overall, you would like kind of like with the 3 ads, because I think the 3 ads are kind of the same thing, where they have like a headline and a ton of copy. Would you just like get rid of the copy and just have the headline, or maybe a little bit of body, but like one small sentence, like the rocket one, I think is the
correct.
win.
Yeah, correct. And what I would do is I would also test videos, because right now there's no videos. And I'm like, let me ask you this: do people in Guatemala have a certain accent that someone else from Guatemala can tell that you're from there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to record an ad in your version of how you guys speak Spanish, and I would run that ad like through a video, and I would do the captions on top of it and stuff like that. And I would do it in the same format, because keep in mind, the ad itself is also hook, body, call to action, right? So I would try multiple hooks, multiple bodies, and then multiple call to actions. Because if you think about it, if you have 3 hooks, 2 bodies, and 3 call to actions, you can create so many different ads. You can do hook one, body one, call to action one, hook one, body one, call to action two. And you can have so many different ads that you can test until you find what works, right? But overall, I think this is a great start to what you're doing. And I think the fact that like you mentioned that before we started recording, that the lead quality is pretty good. So I would say keep exploring this, because obviously your market is different than the US market. I would say in the US, you definitely need to do everything at like max level for it to work. Now let's go to the lead form and see how it's structured. So yeah, so scroll down. Keep scrolling. There we go. All right. What does that translate to?
So book your strategy call, your free strategy call now. It's time to elevate your business with Diesel. Answer the next questions so we can book your call. So okay. What is your current total marketing budget and what industry?
Okay. I like it. The only thing that I would do is instead of saying to book your strategy call on the body under the headline right there, what I would do is I would say something along the lines of to see if you qualify, so that you create that like scarcity of you have to win in order to work with us in a sense. And then go to the next question. Like the next page, sorry. I like the 2 custom questions. It qualifies people a little bit better. All right. And then click the next screen. So this is good. One more. All right. What does this say?
So basically they finish the form. It says, all right, schedule your free strategy call down below. And it says you can proceed to coordinate your call, or you can wait for someone of us to contact you. Click the schedule call button here.
I got you.
And basically it takes them to, go high level form calendar.
Nice. Okay. I like that. That's actually really good. The only thing that I would do here is I would get rid of that emoji at the end, because some people, based on their device, they might be able to see it. Some people may not. I
don't even know what emoji is that. Probably was a rocket or something.
Yeah, and then it probably didn't render well. Yeah. So overall, I mean, I think you're definitely on the right track. Now click X. Let's look at the numbers and see. No, not here. The other X. Yeah. And then deselect the ad set, or select the 2 ad sets that are lead gen based. Select all 3. I know we didn't audit the other one. That one is like open. No, not this one. The one under. Yep. And then click on ads and scroll to the right. So you see ad 1, ad 3, ad 1, ad 1, ad 2. So you see the most amount of leads came from the one with the rocket. So like as we thought, it was the right way. So now we click on cost per result to sort. Yeah, just click on cost per result. All right, perfect. So every single one of the ad ones has generated results. So that tells me that your audience likes that type of ad. Now, what I would do is I would go back, trace back where the good leads came from which ad, and I would make decisions based on that. Now, your click-through rate is super low, 0.62%. I would try to figure out how to get my click-through rate to at least 1.5%. by testing different ads, different hooks, different creatives. Move a little bit more to the left so I can see more of the numbers. The CPM is $10. I wish the CPM was $10 in the US when it comes to business owners, but unfortunately that's not the case. And you've had about 11,000 impressions. You're averaging about a little bit more than a lead per 1,000. So your cost per lead right now is at $9.30. Out of these 12 leads, how many conversations did you have?
2.
2 conversations. Okay, so let me do this. 9.3 times 6. So you're paying $55 per qualified conversation. And right now, what is the average ticket that you are selling at?
$500.
$500. All right, cool. And keep in mind, guys, that this is his price in Guatemala. It's not going to be his price in the US. So $500 in Guatemala is
it's actually $600. Sorry,
$600. So right now you're paying $55 per conversation. What's your conversion rate right now? Like from how many conversations do you need to close the deal?
I would say it's not that high, but I would say it's probably 10%.
10%. Okay, cool. So you need $550 to get one deal, which is perfect. Because what I would do in this situation is I would scale your ad spend up, right? Now not to the level where you break the bank, but to the level where you can validate if your statement is true. Because the way it works is, yeah, you'll break even on month 1 or maybe lose a little bit money. But then month 2, month 3, month 4, you're going to be chilling, especially at the fact that you guys provide a good service and your clients stay on with you. Now, keep in mind, a 10-mile radius in Guatemala and a CPM that low, it's not going to take you that long until everybody has seen your ad. So I wouldn't really scale it to $1,000 a day or $500 a day or whatever it may be. You can just reverse engineer your goals, right? So say that you want your office in Guatemala to be doing 25K in the next 30 days. You can reverse engineer how many deals you need to how much you need to spend per day, or in the next 90 days or the next 180 days or whatever it may be. Now, the fact that, I can see here. So the fact that your reach is 4,900 and you have 10,000 impressions, 11,000 impressions, the average person saw the ad 2.21 times, which you're already kind of maxing out that audience. Because, I mean, how many business owners are there in Guatemala in a 10-mile radius, right? So you're going to be capped at that point. So think about the fact that that is not a bad thing, because the average person takes 7 times of seeing something to make a decision. So if you do 2-3 times on an ad side, and then you call them, text them, email them, and then call them again, that you're already kind of almost at 7 pretty much, right? So I think you're definitely doing the right things. What I would do right now is I would clean up the ads and focus as much as I can on creatives that look like ad 1, whether it's copying the background with different text, copying the background with maybe a photo of you and your partner, or you and your team, or whatever it may be. Because think of everything as it needs to serve a purpose. Am I giving myself credibility? Am I giving myself the best chance of someone stopping and saying, let me see what they got going on, right? Like, I would say that would be the biggest thing, to take the ads from here to the next level. And at the end of the day, you can keep the budget at $15 a day, how you have it now, or you can scale it. And I would say if you do $50 a day, you really will dominate the market, because on average, based on that, every 11 days, you get a deal.
Yeah.
So that's 3 deals a month-ish, right? So, and more practice will mean that you get a higher chance of getting a sale.
Yeah, a better conversion.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And with what you said about, just focusing more of like the ad 1, would you create like new creatives based on that one and just test those out too? Like, at what point do you decide, all right, I'm going to stop making creatives, I'm going to focus on this ones? Or do you kind of like just continue creating and creating?
You always want to create creatives, because like, keep in mind, like ad 1 right now, crushing it, right? Everybody's clicking on ad 1. Ad 1 is the one that's sucking up most of your budget. But what ad 1 is doing is it's also burning itself along the process. So when people have seen an ad so many times, it becomes like annoying, right? So some people can spin it around and say that's our brand, right? So like when you think of things like the Geico Lizard or Jake from State Farm or whatever it may be, like things like that, it's the same thing always for a long time. But if you saw the same exact ad, you're less likely to convert over time, because, well, you already knew about it. It's not any new information. But when you're always inputting new things within the cycle, you tend to find new winners. So this is my strategy. Think of an ad like like a Pokemon, let's say, for example, right? So you found one that works really well with you, and you go and you work on this ad as long as possible, and you do good with this ad. But eventually, over time, this ad is getting tired, right? So you need something else to pick back up. So that's why I spend 80% of the budget on winners. And as the winners are being burned and they're getting fatigued, I am using 20% of the budget to test new creatives. And as soon as I find the winner within the testing, I take it out and I put it in the winners. And I take it out and I put it in the winners. And I keep doing that process so that my winners are always fresh, right? Because some ads might do well in a certain time of the year as well. So like right now, let's say this ad is doing really good, the one with the rocket. It might be like a January through like March thing, right? Mm-hmm. And after that, like it might be different pain point that needs to be attacked, right? Because maybe at the beginning of the year, people are thinking about, oh, I want to do good this year. in the middle of the year, now they're thinking maybe I want to save more money before the end of the year. Like there's different mindsets at play. So I would always test with 20% of the budget. That's what I do on all the ad accounts. And with some ad accounts, even less of 20%. Like if we're spending like 100K a month on something, I'm not using 20K to test. Especially if we're limited to a budget that's super close to the goal. So I try as much as I can to push the boundaries and spend as much as I can on testing, but reasonably, right? Like I'm not going to spend 20,000 a month on testing just to check out which new creative is going to work well. I'll probably spend 10, maybe 5 if the budget is 100K. But if the budget is $3,000, right? Yeah, I'll spend 20% because with more money, you get more speed. With the speed is basically just going to give you the answers faster. So what I would say is keep testing. And if an ad was a winner and it stopped working and you turned it off, turn it back on in 6 months and see how it does. Because we've done this so many times. We have like we have a client. I'm not going to disclose the name because we have an NDA with them. But like they have ads that absolutely kill it. Like I'm talking about $1.5, $2 a lead, and they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per day. Like they're like getting a ton of leads. Like they have like literally thousands of people on their telemarketing team. And what happens is that the ads do really well for them. And then 3 months into the ads running, they drop up. Like I'm talking about this specific ad. Now, obviously we have multiple winners that we shuffle in and out, but every 90 days, these ads crush it. They do the best. They're the best ad they have. But 90 days in, they start to get $10 a lead, $20 a lead, whatever. So what we do is we run them for 90 days, we turn them off for 6 months. And then we run them for 90 days, and then we turn them off for 6 months. Because the minute we turn them back on, they go back to $1.50 a lead. Right? Like imagine this, like 15 leads for the price of one.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's a lot of things at play. There's a lot of things that everybody wants to have the best strategy, but the best strategy is really being a good marketer. That at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, and always trying. Like the less you touch the ad account, the less progress you make. Right? Now, sometimes it's better to not touch the ad account, but regardless, I always think it's best to test new things. So you tell me, is there anything else that you wanted to go over? Like you feel like you misunderstood something, any part of the audit that didn't make sense?
No, man. I mean, everything. I have a lot of notes here that I'm definitely gonna not only do them for this ads, but I'm gonna go with my ads team and every single client we have, because I'm pretty sure we have the same errors in like all the accounts, and we can again just do better. And since we're trying to get into the US market, as you said, we need to be playing in the big leagues game, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I wanted to ask you, because you were saying something in the lines of how you find the winners, then you put them in like a campaign and you kind of like optimize there. So how do you structure it? Do you have like a, let's say, testing campaign and then winners campaign, and then you just like, duplicate the ad sets there, or how do you work that?
Let me show you. So if you want to stop sharing your screen. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what I do. So let's say theoretically, this is my ad setup. Okay. Let's say theoretically, this is my ad setup. And let me just do this. Let's say that this is good. Like my campaign goal is good. And target audience 1 is really good. And ad 2 is really good. Okay. Mm-hmm. So out of all of these, this is the best one. So this line right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I end up doing with this is I go ahead and I do this. So on group. All right. I get rid of these. I get rid of these. Okay. So I go on to the ad, and sorry, I go on to the ad set. I click duplicate. I say new campaign. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a CBO. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this. So now you see it's target audience 111. So before we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's 111. And what I do is I just clone these. And boom, this is scaling horizontally through a winner. So now it's the same ad in the same target audience as a CBO. And the reason I do this is the following, right? Because right now we've validated that target audience 1 is good, right? So let me just do this as green. So this is good, and then ad 2 is good, right? But what might happen is that if I relaunch audience 1 and ad 2, it might not do as good because of different ways that the audience can cluster. And I'll give you an example. This is the best visual that I can give. So let's say that theoretically, this is the audience. This is audience 1, right? And audience 1 is a pond, okay? Let me see here if we have fish. And let's say these are the good leads, okay? Let me just do this. All right, let's say these are the good leads as part of the audience, right? You're in a pond, you're fishing, okay? And let's say this is every time you spend money, the more you spend, the bigger the circle is. The less you spend, the smaller the circle is, okay? And for every target audience, for every ad within each target audience, you get 1 circle. Now, if the circle is too small, right, you have a very high chance of missing the fish. But if the circle is too big, you're spending a ton of money on no fish. Do you see what I'm saying? So what we want to do is we want to keep it relatively small with relatively multiple duplicates of it, right? So if we do this, let's say here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's say there is more fish here, whatever. Right? So now you see that if we highlight, where's my pen? Yeah, if we highlight the circles, here you're getting a good amount of fish per dollar invested. And that's why scaling horizontally is good. And as you start getting results, guess what happens to these circles? They move closer to the fish. So this is what starts to happen. Like this. Because Facebook is realizing that, well, these people are clicking on the ad. Right? And over time, this is what happens. This is what you want to get to. Now, obviously, this is a visual, and it's not 100% accurate, but it kind of gets the point across. You know what I mean? So this is how we scale horizontally through CBOs. And a lot of times what I do is I want to verify if this is true. So what I do is I go ahead and I duplicate audience 1 and ad 2 in the same campaign with the same ad set budget optimization. And sometimes you want to test multiple things. So I've seen audiences do really well at $20 a day, but the minute we get to 50, they suck, right? So there is many different theories on what is needed to be done. And I've seen it multiple times with my eyes in different ways. But what I've seen do best is each ad account by itself. But what I'm showing you here is ammunition, right? Like think about like as if you're, I don't know, like the transporter or something, right? You need to know how to fight with your hands. You need to know how to fight with a knife, you need to know how to fight with a gun, whatever, right? And all of this information here is weapons in your arsenal. So if you see an ad account and you see this doing well, you think to yourself, okay, option one, I can duplicate it within the ad set. Option two, I can scale it through a CBO. Option three, I can create creative similar to ad two and try to beat it. Option four, I can do, for example, maybe a different campaign budget, campaign optimization. So rather than lead form, I can do a landing page. You can do so many things. But if you didn't know this information, you just look at it and you're like, oh, I hope ad two keeps doing well. You know what I mean? So like, you just want more tools in your arsenal. But I mean, that's really all it is.
That's awesome, man. And that's the perfect way to explain it, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
I appreciate it.
Took a load of notes here too. So yeah, man. I mean, this is definitely gold content.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, man. I mean,
right.
Definitely gold mine just for free. That's insane.
I appreciate that, bro. But yeah, man, I mean, thank you for showing your support always. And we look forward to showing you what we have planned for the group coaching and the mastermind students. That is something that no one on YouTube has done, and it's coming soon. So I'm super excited to show you.
I'm excited, man. You know, I'm all in with you guys. So let's do it.
Of course, my man. Well, is there anything else you want to say to the viewers? Where can they find you? What can they do with you before we log off?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram. It's D Pineda Men. I think it's gonna be easier if you put it on the description.
Yeah.
And my company is Diesel Consulting. You guys saw there, and you can kind of like shoot me a message there on my personal.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your time, Diego. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, man. See you.
Bye-bye.